An organized home is great, but if you're the only one holding things together, you're bound to get frustrated. So today, we're taking a new approach to home organization where the whole family is on the same page. And we're learning how to create a system that works for everyone, including the kids and your spouse. It's a simple strategy to get everyone involved, invested, and even excited to keep the home running smoothly. Vanessa Croshaw considers herself a personal trainer, but for your home. We need those too, not just for our bodies, right? So she works with clients to create systems that work for their families and are easily maintained. And you say there is a secret ingredient, and what that is getting everyone involved.
Everybody's got to be on board or the system will not be successful.
Okay, she's gonna help us learn how to get everyone involved. Your first tip is that we can use, we're talking about kids first.
Right.
How that we can use music and even games to get them on board.
Right, music is powerful and it really kind of sets us for success to start a job. Sometimes it's just hard to start. So turning on some music, let them pick the song, or maybe set your time-lapse camera on a spot and you say, okay, we're gonna clean, and you put a timer on it. We're gonna organize for 20 minutes so that they know there's an end in sight, and and then give a small reward at the end. That's not a thing, but let's go visit grandma or grab an ice cream or head to the park.
Oh, I love that. And music, letting them pick, I'm sure, is a big part of that. And how is that different kind of for the littles? Because that seems like timing my teenager, he's gonna be like, go ahead, time me, I don't care. How do we shift that for like the older kids, you know?
The older kids, it's a little harder to get them on board, but I think if you can offer to do half of the job for them, they're a lot more excited. So for instance, if you say, well, let's tackle this drawer of your t-shirts. We're gonna pull everything out and you get to decide what stays and what goes, and then I'll fold them and get them put back in.
Oh, I like that, because I like to fold. So that would be great.
Everyone wins.
You're a labeler.
I love labels.
What can you tell us about labeling?
Labels are really powerful because everybody in the family knows where the item goes. And so if you put a label on it, then they can find the item and then it can quickly go back there.
You're setting them up for success.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so you like to label things, and you say labels don't just make things pretty, but they're essential.
They really are essential, especially if they can be in a container like this, because then the item is contained, it has a home, and every item can go back to it. It also helps your brain only see one thing instead of 100 things at once. So it kind of is has a calming effect.
I'm part of the label crowd. I am with
Perfect.
you on that, especially for little kids, and I would put pictures so they knew what it was.
Yes.
But I understand you even label in the fridge. Tell me about that.
We just started doing this, and we should have done it decades ago, but it's instead of coming home from the grocery store and just throwing everything in, everything has a spot. Fruits, vegetables, cheese, meats, and then we can quickly find what we need, and we waste less food because it doesn't get lost in the back.
Well, you know what? I think that not only helps people to see what there is, but I put everything away because I know where it goes. But if there were labels, someone else could put it away.
Exactly. Get your husband and kids on board.
I love it. Okay, and you say let kids own it.
Own it is so important, especially for teenagers. They want their freedom, they want their independence. So we gave our 15-year-old the freedom to do his room as he wanted, and he chose rope lights and these sneaker boxes, because shoes are important to him right now. And so it's not maybe exactly how I would choose for it to be, but it is organized, and he gets excited because he likes to keep it that way.
I like the rope lights. They're everywhere, right? My son has those too.
And he designed it. It was so fun.
I like your idea of catching them in a win. So this is that rewarding when you see good things, not always nagging.
Oh boy, it's so important to catch them in a win. When I walk by my son's room and it's organized, I make a big fuss about it. We also have 2 sets of married kids, and when we go up to their apartment, I try to make a fuss about, I can tell that you've spent time on this. It looks really great. Way to go.
That probably means a lot to them.
I think it does.
Yeah. Okay, we're moving on to the big kids. We're talking about spouses. Spouses, we have to have them on board too.
Right.
So you said the first thing is we have to start the whole thing with 2 things, questions and love.
Right. We need to communicate, and we can both agree, Amy, that there's no item in your home that matters more than your relationship. So let's put this in perspective and communicate why are things important to them, why they do the things they do, communicate how we feel, and we're setting ourselves up for success if we can just calm down and communicate about it first.
And you say we need to let them pick a spot. Now, You need to expand, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm like, you can have this little corner, but what are you saying? Let them have a whole space that's kind of theirs.
Well, what I'm actually saying is let them choose which space to organize first.
Okay.
And so
You decide.
let's tackle the garage if that's important to you, or the shed or your office, because they're much more likely to get on board for the future projects. And so you start where they'll see the results and they get excited about it.
And what's important to them.
Exactly.
Okay, and the next strategy you say is to just tackle it together. Do it together.
Yes. It's so important because, and then set your expectations to be flexible with the outcome. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just working through things. So, and do it together in love.
And you set us up for that because you told us to start with those questions.
Right.
You let them choose where we're going to start, and then you do it together.
Right.
But you said this is something that you've done with your husband.
Yes, my husband and I just recently tackled his drawers, and he set up a system that worked for him, and I was great with it. And so we tackled it. We got rid of things. We got rid of some polo shirts that he had had since high school, but we kept this ratty old sweatshirt because it was important to him. And so, you know what? Keep it. No big deal. Move on. Relationships over stuff every single time.
He wanted to keep it. I love that time lapse. And he was proud of those two
He
bags.
was.
He's like, look at what I'm getting rid of.
And it felt better because now there was less. He could find what he actually wanted.
I love it. Your last one is that we have to set an example. Set the example.
Set the example. It changes your perspective if you can focus more on you and not be upset with your family because they're not fully on board. Just set the example. If it's important to have your shoes on the shoe rack so nobody trips over them, put your shoes on the shoe rack. Let the kids see that you're doing it, and you're just going to take a minute and celebrate it, maybe even mention it. I think our gentle reminders through our example is the best way to get everybody on board.
And exactly what you said, to start young, because then they're
Yes.
seeing that example when they're young. Maybe they'll be more apt to follow in your footsteps.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, Vanessa, this has been so great. Thank you so much. And this makes me want to buy these for my son.
Aren't they fun?
That is
Yes.
fun for their very special shoes.
Yes.
All right, where can people connect with you?
I'm on Instagram at Every Needful Thing Utah and my website, everyneedfulthing.com. We'd love to have you join our organizing community. We share daily tips and motivation.
We all need it. We all love it. And you're so fun. Thanks for
You're
coming
so
on the
sweet.
show.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.